Welcome back to the channel. Tonight, we drift once again into the slow, quiet, and calming world of ancient Greek myths. Not the fierce battles, not the thunder of gods, but the soft, forgotten stories, the ones whispered gently to help tired minds rest, and to help wandering thoughts settle like dust in the evening light. Long, long ago, in the warm lands of ancient Greece, the world moved slower than it does today. The air carried the smell of wild thyme, the sea gave off a cool breeze, and every village had its own small story, simple, peaceful, and comforting. In these villages, ordinary people lived simple lives beneath the watchful eyes of distant mountains. They believed in gods and magical beings, but not all their stories were full of heroes and quests. Some stories were quiet, whispered near fires, spoken softly before sleep. One of these gentle stories is about Lycon, a humble shepherd who lived near the soft slopes of Mount Parnassus, a mountain known in myths as a place of music, poetry, and old magic. Lycon was not a warrior. He wasn't gifted by the gods. He did not seek adventure. He simply lived quietly, calmly under the wide Greek sky. Each morning, Lycon guided his sheep through silent valleys. The sun rose slowly, casting golden light over the olive trees. The leaves shimmered softly, and the sound of the distant river echoed like a whisper. Lycon enjoyed these small moments, the ones most people overlooked. When the wind passed through the trees, it carried with it the faintest scent of ancient stories, tales older than temples, tales older than the stones beneath his feet. By afternoon, Lycon would rest under a fig tree. He listened to bees humming lazily nearby. He watched small clouds drift slowly across the sky, never in a rush, never in a hurry. As evening arrived, he lit a tiny fire. The flames were gentle, barely rising, glowing softly like warm stars. He sat beside the fire every night, watching the embers turn from orange to deep red. In that quiet time, the stories of the world came alive. He imagined Apollo, the god of light, playing a silent lyre somewhere far away. Not loud, not powerful, but softly, almost sleepy. The notes drifted through the air, slow and calming. He imagined nymphs, their movements so gentle they looked like ripples on still water. They danced under the moonlight, barely creating a sound, like the breeze moving through tall grass. He imagined ancient statues, standing still for centuries, steady, peaceful, patient, watching over lands that changed slowly through time. But one night something different happened. As Lycon sat beside his fire, listening to the quiet hum of the night, a soft, breath-like voice drifted through the wind. It spoke slowly, gently, as if it had traveled a long way. It was the voice of Hypnos, the old Greek god of sleep. Hypnos rarely spoke to mortals, but when he did, his words were like silk, quiet, calm, and comforting. The voice said, "Lycon, the world moves too fast. People hurry, minds race, and hearts forget to rest. But sleep is the gift that slows everything down." Lycon closed his eyes, listening carefully. The voice continued, "Peace is found not in running, not in seeking, but in the quiet moments, the soft drifting of thoughts, the stillness of an evening breeze, the calm glow of embers fading into night. And as these words settled deep inside him, something magical happened. The world grew quieter, slowly, gently, completely. The stars above him shimmered, as if breathing softly. The wind brushed against his face like a calming hand. The earth beneath him felt warm, steady, and safe. In that moment, the ancient myths weren't loud tales of adventure, but soft clouds drifting through his mind. He saw stories of gods resting, not fighting, stories of rivers flowing lazily under the moon, stories of small villages drifting into peaceful sleep. The night wrapped around him like a blanket, quiet, deep, comforting. Lycon let go of all thoughts. He breathed slowly, gently, deeply, and as he drifted into sleep, the myths settled around him like dust in moonlight. Tonight, may these same gentle myths guide you too, into rest, into peace, into stillness, into sleep. Lycon slept that night more deeply than he ever had before, and while he slept, the world of dreams opened around him, not in a rush, but slowly, gently, like a quiet door creaking open to a peaceful room. In this dream, he found himself walking along a narrow path covered in soft white dust. The air was cool, carrying the faint scent of lavender. Above him, the sky glowed a pale silver, as if the moon had stretched its light across the entire heavens. The path was quiet, so quiet that every step felt like he was walking inside a dream made of feathers. As he walked, he saw ancient Greek columns rising in the distance. Some were cracked, some were leaning, some were whole, but all of them looked calm, patient, unbothered by time. They stood like guardians of sleep, watching over the quiet landscape. Lycon kept walking. He noticed small glowing lights drifting around him, tiny, gentle, and fluttering like slow, moving fireflies. These lights did not speak. They simply drifted, floating through the air at their own peaceful pace. After a while he reached a quiet shore. The sea here was unlike any sea he had known. It did not roar or crash or push against the rocks. Instead, the waves curled and uncurled slowly, as if the ocean was breathing in its sleep. Each wave broke with a soft whisper, just a hush, nothing more. Lycon sat down on the sand. The ground was warm, holding the heat of a sun that he never saw but somehow felt. He dug his fingers gently into the sand, letting the grains slip between them. And then he heard another voice, not as loud as Hypno's, not even as clear, but soft, almost distant, like someone speaking through a dream. Lycon, he looked around slowly. There, standing at the edge of the water, was a tall, peaceful figure dressed in flowing robes made of moonlight. Her hair floated gently, as though a soft underwater current moved through it. She was Pasithea, a goddess of relaxation and gentle rest, one of the companions of Hypnos. Her voice was calm, steady, and soothing. "You have learned how to slow your thoughts," she said. "But now, you must learn how to quiet your heart." Lycon listened as the waves whispered behind her. Many hearts beat in worry. The goddess continued. People carry burdens, memories, hopes, fears. But rest comes when the heart relaxes, when it beats softly, steadily like the quiet tide. She walked closer, her footsteps leaving small glowing prints on the sand. "Tonight," she said, "I will show you how the ancients found peace." She raised a hand, and the sea changed. It became even slower, even calmer. The waves began moving in perfect rhythm with Lycon's breath, rising when he inhaled, falling when he exhaled. It felt like the world itself was breathing with him. Slow, quiet, gentle. Pasithea spoke again. In ancient Greece, people believed every calm moment was a gift from the gods. A quiet breeze was a blessing. A slow evening was a prayer. A peaceful night was a sign that Hypnos walked near. The goddess stepped beside him and looked up at the silvery sky. "Rest is not weakness," she said softly. "It is the oldest strength of the world. Even mountains sleep, even oceans rest, even stars dim their light to dream." Lycon felt a warmth settle in his chest, a peaceful, steady warmth like a hand gently calming his heartbeat. The tiny fireflies drifted around them, circling slowly, leaving faint trails of golden light in the air. The goddess continued speaking, her voice soft as silk. "When your mind slows, when your heart softens, your spirit begins to float, not away from you, but deeper into peace, like a leaf settling onto still water." Lycon closed his eyes. He felt the night deepen. He felt the sea breathe. He felt himself becoming lighter, quieter, calmer. After a long pause, Pasithea whispered, "When you awaken, remember this. Peace is not found by searching. It is found by slowing, by drifting, by trusting the quiet." Her voice faded gently, like the last note of a lullaby slowly dissolving into the night. When Lycon opened his eyes again, she was gone, and the dream world around him shimmered softly, as if made of starlight and calm air. He lay down on the warm sand, listening to the slow, rhythmic sound of the waves. And as the sea breathed with him, he drifted deeper and deeper and deeper into gentle, comforting sleep. Lycon drifted in that peaceful dream, wrapped in the warmth of the gentle sand and the whispering waves. Time didn't pass quickly here. In fact, it felt as if time itself had slowed down to rest beside him. When he finally rose from the soft shore, the silver sky above him had deepened into a deeper shade of moonlit blue. The world was quiet, as though everything had entered a soft slumber. He began walking again, slowly, unhurried, letting each step sink gently into the ground. The firefly, like lights, continued floating around him, accompanying him like silent dream companions. They glowed with a steady pulse, almost matching the rhythmic beat of a calm heart. As Lycon walked deeper into this dreamlike world, the scenery changed around him, not suddenly, but the way dawn slowly melts into day. The sea faded behind him. The soft sands transitioned into a field of tall, golden grass. Each blade swayed gently, but not from wind, from something softer, as if the earth itself exhaled in its sleep. The air held a mild scent of honey and warm wheat. Far ahead, he saw something glowing in the distance, a warm, amber light, flickering slowly like a lantern swinging gently in a silent breeze. Curious but calm, Lycon followed the glow. When he reached it, he found himself standing before a small, ancient hut built from smooth river stones. It looked timeless, as though it had stood there for centuries, untouched by age. Outside the hut sat a very old man with a very peaceful face. His beard was long, flowing like soft white clouds drifting across the sky. His eyes were almost closed, not out of tiredness, but because he saw everything through a calm understanding of the world. Lycon felt no fear, only warmth, only peace. The old man lifted his head slowly and smiled gently. "I have been expecting you," he said, his voice as soft as ashes falling from an extinguished fire. Lycon sat beside him without speaking. The night around them deepened into a quiet stillness. The old man introduced himself. "I am Geras, the spirit of calm aging, the guardian of peaceful years." Lycon had heard of Geras in stories, not as a burden, but as a symbol of wisdom, patience, and the slow understanding that comes only with time. Geras spoke slowly, each word drifting into the air like a feather. People often fear the passing of days, the changing of seasons, the shifting of time, but time, when allowed to move gently, is a friend. He looked at Lycon, his eyes soft as moonlit water. "Your life, your heart, your journey, all are softened by patience." He lifted a hand, and suddenly the field around them shimmered with tiny motes of golden dust. "These," Geras said, "are the memories of peaceful moments. Every person accumulates them, every day, but few ever notice." The dust rose slowly into the air, glowing with a warm, nostalgic light. They drifted past Lycon, and as one brushed his cheek, he felt a gentle wave of calm. Geras continued, "Humans remember storms. They remember loud moments, difficult moments, heavy moments, but they forget the quiet mornings, the soft evenings, the peaceful breaths between thoughts." The golden dust swirled softly. No wind moved it. It floated by the rhythm of silence. "Tonight," Geras whispered, "you learn to collect the quiet moments." He handed Lycon a small, smooth stone. It radiated a gentle warmth. "This is stillness," the old spirit said. "Carry it with you. Hold it in your mind. Let it remind you that peace is always closer than breath." The stone glowed faintly, matching the slow beat of Lycon's heart. Then Geras placed a gentle hand on Lycon's shoulder. "Now, continue your journey," he murmured, "for the night still has more to teach you." And as he spoke, the hut, the field, and the golden dust began to fade, not disappear, but dissolve softly into mist, like a memory drifting into dream. Lycon found himself on another path, this time lined with soft marble stones. The night sky had changed again. Stars shimmered like tiny drops of silver, and the moon looked closer, larger, almost like a lantern hanging low in the heavens. He felt no weight in his steps, no hurry in his heart, only the steady, soothing peace of someone who is drifting deeper into sleep. As he walked, he heard a soft rustle above him, the sound of feathers moving slowly through the air. He looked up and saw a large, gentle owl with snow, white wings gliding silently overhead. It circled once, twice, and then descended, landing gracefully on a marble column beside him. Its golden eyes blinked slowly, thoughtfully. "I am Nix's owl," it said, its voice low, warm, and echoing slightly, like distant wind inside a cavern. "I guide travelers through the quietest parts of the night." The owl tilted its head gently. "You have walked through calm dreams, through peaceful memories, through the slow passage of time. Now you will learn the final lesson of night." Lycon listened, and so the night deepened around Lycon. The little fire beside him had melted into a quiet orange glow. No flames now, just a warm, sleepy heartbeat of light. The sheep were resting nearby, curled peacefully in the grass, breathing in the same slow rhythm as the breeze. Everything, the sky, the trees, the gentle slopes of Mount Parnassus, seemed to settle into a quiet stillness. Lycon opened his eyes again, only halfway, as if caught between waking and dreaming. The world looked softer now, as though every edge had been rounded, every shadow blended into the night. Above him the stars drifted slowly, not twinkling sharply, but swaying like tiny boat lamps on a calm sea. One star, a little brighter than the rest, seemed to shimmer with a soft bluish glow. Lycon had seen it many times, but tonight it felt closer. He remembered an old, forgotten myth, a gentle one, a quiet one. It was said that this star belonged to Fana, a spirit of soft light who guided lost travelers and wandering dreams. Unlike other celestial beings who rode fiery chariots or battled through the heavens, Fana preferred stillness. Her light was meant not to wake the world, but to ease it into rest. Lycon whispered her name, Fana, and the star flickered almost like a reply. He breathed deeply. The scent of wild thyme, warm earth, and distant sea filled the air, the familiar fragrances of Greece. They wrapped around him like a blanket. Slowly, the quiet voice of Hypnos returned, not as a whisper this time, but as a gentle presence, like a hand resting on the world. Lycon. The voice was steady, soft, and ancient. You have listened to the wind, now listen to the silence. Lycon allowed the words to settle inside him. The silence was not empty. It was full of ancient memories, old songs, and forgotten footsteps of myths that once wandered the earth. In that silence, he heard the faintest sound, a soft hum, a slow melody, something calm enough to be heard only by someone who is truly still. It was Apollo's lyre, not the bright musical notes sung in grand temples, but a quiet, almost secret tune, the melody Apollo played when the world needed rest. Each note drifted through the air like a feather, floating gently before settling into Lycon's breath. The music didn't stir him. It didn't excite him. It simply guided him deeper into calm. Apollo himself did not appear, only the music, and that was enough. The shepherd let his shoulders relax. His hands loosened. His heartbeat matched the soft rhythm of the lyre. The mountains around him seemed to listen too. The tall cypress trees leaned slightly, as if bowing to the gentle song. Even the distant river slowed, its waters whispering over stones with softened voices. As the melody faded into the night, Lycon felt a sense of peace he had never known. And then he felt something else, a soft warmth behind him. Like sunlight, but softer than sunlight. He turned slowly. There, standing in the faint glow of the embers, was a figure made of soft silver light. Not bright, not blinding, just calm. She had no sharp features, only the outline of a woman glowing like moonlit mist. Fana, the spirit of gentle light. She didn't speak. She didn't need to. Her presence alone filled the night with stillness, the kind of stillness that gathers around you when you are falling into a peaceful dream. Lycon lowered his gaze, not out of fear, but because the calmness felt so deep, so soothing, it made him close his eyes slowly, like drifting into sleep. Fana raised a hand, graceful and soft, and for a moment the entire valley brightened with a pale, dreamlike glow. Every tree, every stone, every breath of wind shimmered with her quiet light. And then the glow softened and softened and softened until only the gentle night remained. Lycon exhaled. The world felt lighter, quieter, safe. As he rested back against the earth, he felt the presence of Hypnos, the sound of Apollo's distant lyre, and the soft glow of Fana watching the valley. The myths were no longer loud stories or heroic battles. They were soft companions guiding him into dreams. And slowly, very slowly, Lycon drifted deeper into rest.